Before we get into today's show, let me tell you about the latest deal from Mike Lindell, MyPillow. Once again, the big box stores have canceled their orders simply because they don't agree with Mike Lindell's politics. They don't like it because he supports President Trump. Well, he's going to pass that savings on to you. No more middleman. And boy, does he have some great deals on the Giza Dream sheets and the Percal bed sheets. Listen to this. Giza Dream queen size, normally $139.98. Your wholesale price, $69.99 when you use promo code Joey. King size, only $79.99. The Percal queen size, normally $89.98. Your wholesale price, $29.98 when you use promo code Joey. Just call 1-800-893-4059 or go to MyPillow.com. Always use promo code Joey. Free shipping options available. This allotment's not going to last very long. When they're gone, they're gone. MyPillow.com, promo code Joey. Thanks for joining me in the PhD Weight Loss and Nutrition Studios. To lose weight for the last time, visit myphdweightloss.com. The House of Representatives is expected to vote today on forcing the DOJ to release all of its Epstein files. We have an update for you on a story that just won't go away. A top Michigan official has sparked an online firestorm when asked to name the number of genders. Now, why do people have to make this question, a simple question, so complicated? We have an update on President Trump's $2,000 tariff dividend. Could you use an extra $2,000 this year? And dozens were arrested in Charlotte, North Carolina, as part of Operation Charlotte's Web after the Trump administration immigration ordered a crackdown, according to immigration officials. Glad to have you in as we have a busy breaking news deck.
I told you we'd be back.
And ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free.
It's Joey Hudson.
I wanted to name it the Joey Hudson bill, but, they don't allow you to put names on bills. But I wanted to call it the Joey Hudson bill because I know that one's been near and dear to you for a number of years.
That's how it's done. Let your voice be heard.
And the truth shall set you free.
Here's Joey Hudson.
According to a newly obtained internal memo, Oversight Committee Republicans say Democrats are using the Epstein investigation not to uncover the truth, surprise, 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 but to attack President Donald Trump, surprise again. Fox News Digital got their hands on a 10-page memo from Republican staff on the Oversight Committee, and its message was very blunt. Democrats are twisting testimony, cherry-picking documents, and crafting a narrative designed to smear Donald Trump, even when the evidence shows nothing of the sort. Now, should we be surprised about this at all? The memo claims Democrats, led by ranking member Robert Garcia of California, intentionally misrepresented information and selectively leaked redacted documents to create what Republicans call, quote, another hoax involving President Trump. Remember Russia, Russia, Russia? The memo basically says, here we go again. Here's what GOP investigators say they found after reviewing thousands of pages from the Department of Justice and Epstein's own estate. Trump knew Epstein decades ago. Trump cut off the relationship. Trump had no involvement in Epstein's criminal activities, and no witness testimony implicates him. It's just that simple. That's not from Trump's lawyers. That's from Bill Barr, Trump's former attorney general, who testified that he never saw nor heard anything tying Trump to Epstein's crimes. Yet Democrats claim that Barr had limited knowledge, which Republicans say is a complete distortion. This is where things kind of get wild, though. Republicans say that Democrats, number one, released 3 emails out of 23,000, redacted names to make Trump look suspicious, and even removed the name of accuser Virginia Jeffrey, despite the fact that she has publicly stated Trump never engaged in any wrongdoing. One redaction hid the line, she was the one that accused Prince Andrew. Leaving that out, that changes the entire meaning of the email. The memo calls it deception, not oversight. Republicans also point to another example. Democrats published pages from Epstein's infamous birthday book showing Trump had once been listed, but did not release an alleged message from Bill Clinton found in those same records. They're selectively putting this stuff out with the intentions of trying to make Donald Trump look bad. And while Republicans have subpoenaed both Bill and Hillary Clinton, Democrats have refused to help bring them in. even though Democrats were quick to hold hearings with Trump-connected figures who never had any ties to Epstein crimes at all. So the GOP is asking, if transparency is the goal, why the selective silence? We know the answer to that, don't we? It's not a very difficult question. Let's be honest. This investigation started as a bipartisan effort to get to the bottom of Epstein's decades-long trafficking operation. Victims deserve answers. It's very simple. Americans deserve answers. But Republicans now say Democrats have overpromised, underdelivered, and focused on one thing, trying to tie Trump to Epstein. That they are obsessed with that idea. The memo says Democrats paw through every document looking for one word, Trump. And so far, nothing they've found implicates him. This memo comes just hours before the House votes on a bipartisan bill demanding the Department of Justice release all Epstein files. House GOP leaders originally opposed it, now to protect Trump. Not to protect Trump, but because the bill as written could expose personal information about victims. Oversight is already conducted its own deep dive investigation. But momentum has shifted. Why? A discharge petition spearheaded by Thomas Massie and Ro Khanna forced the House to take it up. And last night, President Trump himself weighed in, saying, "We have nothing to hide. It's time to move on from this Democrat hoax." Translation, open the books, release everything, let the American people see the truth for themselves. Folks, the Epstein case should have been a moment of unity, a chance for Congress to give answers to survivors who've been ignored for decades. Instead, Democrats and Republicans are accusing each other of playing politics. But here's the difference. Republicans want every file released. Democrats want selective leaks. Republicans subpoenaed the Clintons. Democrats only want to question Trump-associated witnesses. Republicans say full transparency. Democrats are being accused of manipulating documents to shape the narrative. Does that surprise you? Once again, the victims, the people this should be about, are caught in the fog of political warfare. So let's boil it down to the truth. Jeffrey Epstein was a monster. I don't think anyone can argue with that. Ghislaine Maxwell enabled him. Dozens of powerful people circled his orbit. But after months of subpoenas and literally thousands of pages of documents, there's still zero evidence that Donald Trump participated in or knew about Epstein's crimes. Yet Democrats continue to build a conspiracy theory that's already collapsing under the weight of its own fiction. They hate Donald Trump so badly that they literally just cannot stand the idea of not being able to pin something on him. If they can't find the truth, they just make it up. Again, we refer back to the Russia. This Epstein thing is very similar in a lot of ways. There's nothing there, as there was nothing in the Russia collusion investigation. There's nothing in the Epstein investigation, but the Democrats want to try to pin this on Donald Trump, so they're going to keep it up. They're going to keep suggesting, insinuating, leaking, selectively leaking information. So President Trump says, hey, look, just release it all. Let everybody see it. Republicans say, release it all. Let everybody see it. Do the victims of this deserve nothing less? The victims deserve the truth. And you would think that for once, Democrats would think about the victims, the people who were really hurt, and they would put their feelings first, that they would put their interests first, above and beyond politics, any political gain that the Democrats think they might achieve here. But no, because Democrats don't think like that. If Democrats truly cared about justice, they would stop redacting information. They'd stop trying to spin this story into something that it's not. they would stop turning an investigation into yet another political weapon against their foe, Donald Trump. But they're not capable of that because the Democrats, they don't care about the truth. They don't care about the victims. All they care about is trying to take down Donald Trump. That is their main objective, and they'll do anything they can to try to achieve that objective, even if it means ignoring the victims of this crime. Those victims, they need answers. They need closure so they can move on with their life. How could a Democrat, how could anybody for that matter, not want to help them achieve that? How could anyone not want these young ladies who have been tortured their entire life to not get to a point that they can put it behind them and move on? Well, I think Donald Trump's going to help them out here. I think the Republicans in the U.S. Congress are going to help them out and finally, once and for all, release everything. Joey Hudson here, and this is it. PhD Weight Loss is running their best deal ever for Black Friday, and it's happening right now. They're waiving your consultation fee, adding 2 free weeks to your program, and even covering the cost of your food. Just mention the promo code BESTDEAL when you call, and you'll get a discount I can't even say on the air. Every year, the holidays hit, the pounds creep on, and by January, we're all back at the gym. But what if you could finish the year already feeling lighter, stronger, and more confident? That's what happens with PhD Weight Loss. Their metabolic reset system teaches your body to burn fat first, naturally and sustainable. I lost over 30 pounds with PhD, and it changed everything. My coach helped me through travel, holidays, parties. I actually enjoyed the season and lost weight. So don't wait. For Black Friday only, they're offering their best deal ever. Consultation free waived. 2 free weeks. Their 5 steps to reset the scale book, and your food is absolutely covered. Call 864-644-1900. That's 864-644-1900. Mention best deal or visit online at myphdweightloss.com. We're getting more info from the ICE raids just up the road in Charlotte, North Carolina this past weekend. All eyes are on the Tar Heel State, where the Trump administration has launched one of the most aggressive immigration enforcement surges that we've seen in a number of years, an operation that is now being called Operation Charlotte's Web. You get it there? Charlotte's Web. The immigration enforcement folks are getting creative with their naming rights there. Let me tell you, this is one that is stirring up emotions from every corner of the political spectrum. Charlotte woke up this weekend to the sight of federal immigration agents near churches, apartment complexes, grocery stores, even hardware stores, as part of a targeted crackdown led by top Border Patrol Commander Gregory Bovino. Bovino, the same official who headed up massive enforcement sweeps in Chicago and Los Angeles, announced that his team has already made over 80 arrests. He posted photos, he posted video clips of suspected criminal illegal aliens being taken into custody in that Charlotte area. His message was very blunt. Our agents go where the mission calls. And this time the mission called them straight into the heart of a solid blue city, a city where local leaders have refused to cooperate with federal immigration enforcement. They don't need their cooperation, though, to do their jobs. The Department of Homeland Security says that Charlotte was chosen because of what they call sanctuary-style policies. Mecklenburg County does not honor ICE detainers. Charlotte police do not assist federal immigration officers. And according to DHS, 1,400 detainers across North Carolina have gone unaddressed, meaning that thousands of individuals flagged for immigration violations will release back into the community. Now, you tell me, does this sound like it's safe? Does this sound like they're protecting their communities? Assistant Secretary Tricia McLaughlin summed it up this way, quote, "We are urging DHS law enforcement to Charlotte to ensure Americans are safe and public safety threats are removed." Now, whether you agree or disagree, one thing's very clear here. The administration believes that when cities refuse to cooperate, the federal government has a responsibility to step in, and that's exactly what they did this past weekend. Charlotte is home to nearly a million people, including a large and vibrant Latino community, and this operation has understandably sparked some confusion, maybe even some fear in that community. A spokesperson for Camino, a nonprofit serving Latino families, said that parents were too scared to leave home for work, school, or medical appointments. The dental clinic reported 9 cancellations in one day. At the same time, Mecklenburg County GOP Chair Kyle Kirby praised the operation, saying, "We stand with the rule of law and with every charlatan's safety first." Now, let's go back to that spokesman saying that parents and families were scared. Now, I can't put myself in that situation. I don't know what it feels like. I'm about to say middle-aged. I'm not a middle-aged. I'm an old white man. I'm a white man who's never had to fear the color of my skin and what it could mean. But if you haven't done anything, and if you're in the country legally, what do you have to be afraid of? Why should you fear an ICE agent? On the streets, we're told tension is rising. Protesters gathered near DHS offices. 2 demonstrators were arrested, taken to the FBI field office. And 1 U.S. citizen told reporters he was shoved to the ground and detained by mistake, an incident that's now fueling criticism from activists and city council members. So maybe that's what some people are fearful that they'll be mistakenly detained. I hope not. This story really hits a nerve when it comes to places of worship. City Council member-elect J.D. Missouri Arias said that he saw agents near multiple churches and was outraged. He said houses of worship are sanctuaries. These are people looking for hope. This is a gross violation of their right to worship. If you're here in our country illegally, do you have that right? Should churches be out of bounds for ICE agents? Text me, email me, joe@joeyhudson.com. Leave me a message on the MyPillow message line, 864-477-JOEY, 864-477-5639. Do you think that churches should be off limits to ICE agents, houses of worship? Now, for many faith leaders, even those who support border security, the idea of immigration raids near churches, they say, brings back difficult memories. And it sparks the bigger question. Where is the line between enforcing immigration law and respecting sacred spaces? It's a debate that we've had here in America, and we're having it again. The Biden-era media spent years telling us that immigration enforcement is rooted in racism. But the Trump administration's view is very straightforward. If you're in the country illegally and you have a criminal record, you're leaving pronto. You're getting a one-way ticket back home. Bovino even highlighted one arrest, a man with a string of drunk driving convictions, saying, "We took him off the street so he can't keep putting your family at risk." Critics pushed back, saying that Charlotte's crime rates have been trending downward, and targeting neighborhoods near churches is aggressive and alarming. But supporters argue the same thing many Americans have been saying for years. We have borders for a reason. And that reason is you got to come to our country the right way. If not, you got to leave. There's no debate about that. The whole moment is really about one central conflict. Who decides how immigration laws are enforced, cities or the federal government? Under President Trump, the answer is crystal clear. Federal law is federal law. Sanctuary cities don't get to opt out of federal law. It's just that simple. The administration's position is that places like Charlotte have tied the hands of law enforcement for way too long, and now Washington is stepping in. We don't know how long Operation Charlotte's Web will continue. DHS isn't saying. We don't know how many arrests are coming or how many of the 1,400 unserved detainers will be acted on in North Carolina. What we do know is that these sweeps are happening in cities across America. The Trump administration is doubling down on interior enforcement. More cities with sanctuary-style policies could be next. You put yourself in that position. And political tensions, especially in urban areas, are likely to escalate. For Charlotte, a city proud of its diversity, this moment is a crossroads for city leaders. On the text line, Scott in Toccoa writes, on the penny issue, yes, it costs more to make it than it's worth, but I'm not sure it's a good idea to get rid of it. My cynical mind tells me this is just another step to digital currency and a cashless society, and that I know is a bad idea. Thank you, Scott. Scott's referring to, I think it was maybe Friday or so, that I talked about the penny. They minted the last one last week because it cost just over 3 cents to produce a 1 cent coin. So the Trump administration has ended the minting of pennies. Trucker Donnie on the MyPillow message line.
Good morning, Joey. This is Trucker Donnie working out of Malden, South Carolina. Just want to say hello to all the red-blooded Americans and all the patriotism that's flowing through our country. It feels good to see people sticking with each other these days. I called in. I was listening to your show just a few minutes ago about the narco-terrorism and the drug trade and the epidemic in our great nation. It's sad to see it happening, but it is amazing and a good feeling to see that we have got a commander-in-chief, Donald Trump, issuing orders to his military to attack and be on the offense instead of the defense now. I mean, it is just an amazing feeling to see them slowing all these big-time billion-dollar industry drug trades down. I mean, is it not about time? I mean, you can't give enough credit to Trump's administration. I just wanted to throw my 2 cents in this morning. And thank you for what you're doing. Keep up the good work. God bless you. God bless Donald Trump. And God bless America. This is Trucker Donnie working out of Malden, South Carolina. Keep up the good work, brother. And all of you audiences who's listening in to this show, y'all have a very good day. Thank you. God bless.
And Trucker Donnie, we hope you have a safe day, too. God bless you as well. Well, here's a headline that's sure to fire up the political base and maybe send a few shockwaves through Capitol Hill. President Trump says Americans could be getting the $2,000 check from the tariff revenue, the dividend check, as he calls it. The president made the surprise announcement during an Oval Office event celebrating his administration's role in bringing the world soccer match to the U.S. But what really turned heads wasn't about soccer. It was about cash, cold, hard cash. It'll always get your attention, won't it? This has been an idea that's been floated for the last couple of weeks. The president's mentioned it a couple of times. He seemed to be a little more direct yesterday as if this is going to happen. The president told reporters that the, quote, dividends, as he's calling them, would start rolling out sometime before the 2026 midterm. His pitch, thousands of dollars going straight to working and middle-class Americans, not the wealthy, as a direct return on what he calls trillions of dollars brought in through his America First tariff policy. Now, this idea, again, been floated around for a while. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent mentioned it before. A $2,000 payment, possibly more, going out to individuals earning under $100,000 a year. He even said it could come in the form of checks, tax rebates possibly, or something else entirely. They're working out the details. He said, the Treasury Secretary said everything is on the table. But he also acknowledged right now it's all just in discussion. The president seemed to be a little more convinced yesterday that it's really going to happen. Here's the reality check. Congress would have to approve this. Even some Republicans aren't sold. GOP Senator Bernie Moreno of Ohio put it bluntly over the summer. He said it will never pass. We have a $37 trillion debt, and that number's now over $38 trillion as of November. Still, President Trump is banking on the political punch this kind of populist move could deliver, especially with the Supreme Court currently weighing the legality of his aggressive tariffs on foreign imports. If they rule against him, those trillions might actually have to be refunded, not handed out. And that would be a huge blow to the whole country. Democrats are kind of silently hoping it happens because, again, they don't want Trump to succeed. But it would be a big, big defeat for the country. But if the court upholds them, and President Trump can find a way to push this plan through, It could be a very powerful reelection message. Vote Trump, get a check. Or actually vote for people who will support Trump. Obviously, President Trump won't be on the ballot next year. But it could be a big boost to build on those majorities, on the House majority and on the Senate majority, where we very badly need some more senators in there. Now, whether this becomes reality or just another campaign season promise, that's anybody's guess. You tell me. But one thing's for sure. We're all watching. Washington's watching. Wall Street's watching. And working class voters are watching too. Now, I told you yesterday that President Trump, and this is just an example of how if Donald Trump says something, the liberal elite are going to immediately challenge it. They're going to argue with him. Because, again, they do not want him to succeed. They don't want people to trust him. So I told you yesterday that the president had said that Thanksgiving is going to cost less this year. He gave the example of a meal, what a Thanksgiving meal will cost, that a price that's already been confirmed and guaranteed by Walmart. But hold on to that, because NBC News does not agree. They posted on a number of their local affiliate websites, the network wrote this: high grocery prices and tariffs could spoil your Thanksgiving menu this year. That's because the cost of some key holiday staples is up, especially with grocery prices in general 2.7% higher than they were in 2024. So NBC is saying, no. That Thanksgiving dinner is going to actually cost you more. Now, they don't mention initially the fact that President Trump just yesterday told the nation that Thanksgiving dinner was going to be less based on prices from Walmart. But you know the reason they pushed this story out is because of that. And a little bit later, they kind of reveal that. The rising cost, this is back to their article, the rising costs come as many people are already struggling to afford food. Prices for key Thanksgiving staples like potatoes, meats, fresh vegetables, and bakery products are all up, they say. And tariffs have caused the price of many imported items like wine to jump through the roof. One wine store says prices are 5 to 12% higher this year. NBC goes on to write, despite this, President Trump has claimed over the past 2 days that the cost for Thanksgiving is down 25% this year, citing a prepackaged Thanksgiving meal basket from Walmart. Now, they're going to challenge that. They go on to say, according to the Associated Press, while Walmart's 2025 meal basket costs 25% less than the one from 2024, that's because it offers fewer items and different products that make it more affordable. Again, they just can't stand it. They can't help themselves. They got to try to call Trump out and try to make him look as though he doesn't know what he's talking about. A press release from the White House also cited cheaper Thanksgiving deals at Lidl, Aldi's, Target, and others. However, according to NBC, Target's four-person meal costs less than $20, about the same as in 2024, but substitutes green beans and cream of mushroom soup for French bread and frozen corn. I mean, they literally go back to look and see what was in the meal last year and compare it to what is in the meal this year. Some economists have concerns about the price of turkey, they say. Analysis from the American Farm Bureau Federation found that wholesale turkey prices were up about 40% this year. And yet, that doesn't mean every bird will be pricier in 2025. They write, Anderson explained that because certain retailers, such as Walmart, contract their turkeys well in advance, the price for customers might be much lower than the market currently indicates. So, yes, you may go into Walmart, you may buy your turkey again, and it may be less than last year, but it's not because of anything Donald Trump has done. It's because Walmart negotiated that price a long time ago. We sure can't let anyone think that maybe Donald Trump is getting prices down, that maybe he's put a hold on more inflation. We can't give him any credit for that. We got to call him out. It's Thanksgiving. We can't be thankful. Wow. Your comments are welcome on the Furman Ford text line, 864-477-JOEY. That's 864-477-5639. Emails always welcome, joey@joeyhudson.com. Speaking of the Furman Ford text line, it's never been more important to support locally run businesses owned by people who actually live here in the upstate. Let me take a minute to talk with you about our friends at Furman Ford. If you're looking for a new vehicle, maybe a great pre-owned vehicle, one you can trust, or maybe you're looking to order that special vehicle. Either way, if you want a new one, a brand new one, or a pre-owned that you can trust, the folks at Furman Ford, they're there to help you. Their name is on the sign because their name is on the line, because every single transaction is important to them. Jim Furman, Matthew Furman. They do business the right way. When you stop by, when you give them a call, or maybe when you just send them a quick email, you're always going to have access to a member of the Furman Ford family. And by the way, they also offer great service, and you're not going to have to wait weeks and weeks to get it done. And you do not have had to purchase your vehicle at Furman Ford. Doesn't even have to be a Ford. They service all makes and models. Visit my friends at Furman Ford online at furmanford.com, furmanford.com. A video clip out of Michigan is lighting up social media, and once again, exposing just how far the culture war in our classrooms has gone. This is an old issue that keeps raising its head. It all started when a top state education official, Dr. Sue Carnell, she's Michigan's chief deputy superintendent, was asked what should have been a very simple question during a legislative hearing. That question, how many genders are there? Her answer, or really her refusal to answer, has the internet in an uproar, with conservatives accusing Michigan's Department of Education of pushing ideology over education. Here's the exchange.
And the reality is that there's lots of things in this proposed guidelines that do not line up with the beliefs of parents. They do not believe it is the role of the government, which, by the way, you are, to dictate these kinds of things. Things like you said, the science of gender. How many genders are there? How many genders are there?
Different people have different beliefs on that.
Well, you can believe all you want, but science says there's two. So why is it that we believe we have to put this indoctrination into our you can believe whatever you want, and that's perfectly okay. And any parent can believe whatever they want, and that's perfectly okay. And any politician can believe whatever they want, and that's perfectly okay. But why are we putting it in the curriculum to educate our children about that? What's the reason behind that?
The reason behind it is that we find that children who are gender diverse are being harassed, bullied in school. We can't make education gains if students feel unsafe.
Wouldn't disagree with you on that. Completely agree that we have to keep our children safe. But are you saying that by you providing this education on gender fluidity or multiple gender theory, are you saying that what that will do is it will stop those kinds of behaviors in school?
The standards point to understanding tolerance, inclusivity, and based on what we know from Massachusetts, it has made a difference.
Now, this viral moment actually happened a few weeks ago, back on October 28th. But it's resurfaced this week after the conservative account Libs of TikTok posted the clip on X, where it's now been seen by over 2 million people. Republican State Representative Jay DeBoyer is the voice you heard, asking Dr. Carnell a direct question during a committee hearing. How many genders are there? After an awkward pause and a smile, Dr. Carnell finally replied, different people have different beliefs on that. It's not the question he asked. I don't care how somebody, what somebody believes on the topic. It's a real simple question. There are two genders. Now, that's when the hearing and the internet exploded. Conservatives accused her of dodging a basic scientific question. And for many parents already frustrated with Michigan's education system, it was proof that the people running public schools are more interested in pushing ideology than improving literacy or math scores. It's just that simple. The reaction, as you can imagine, was swift and it was sharp. Former GOP gubernatorial candidate Tudor Dixon blasted the state board, saying Democrats are sexualizing every facet of the curriculum and imposing radical ideology on all Michigan K-12 schools. Republican State Senator Eric Nesbitt didn't hold back either, posting on X, 3/4 of Michigan kids can't read at grade level. When you realize these are the people in charge of education, that number starts to make a lot more sense. Heritage Foundation Vice President Roger Severino joined in, saying that progressives still haven't figured out how to answer what is a woman. A callback to Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson's famous "I'm not a biologist" moment during her Supreme Court confirmation hearing. And conservative commentator Paul Scapula wrote, if a person can't answer how many genders there are, they shouldn't be allowed to vote. Now, what makes this moment even more significant is what the hearing was actually about. Michigan State Board of Education had just approved new sex education standards by a 6-2 vote that include teaching gender identity and sexual orientation in public schools. The guidelines recommended that by the end of the 8th grade, students should be able to define gender identity, gender expression, and sexual orientation, and explain how biological sex, gender identity, and gender expression are distinct concepts and how they interact. Critics, including a lot of parents, a lot of pastors, a lot of lawmakers, say these lessons undermine parental rights and religious liberty, arguing that moral and family discussions about gender belong at home, not in the classroom. Again, this is an old argument. It's an argument that we've had too many times over the past few years. But yet, the liberals keep bringing it up. The liberal educators like this Dr. Carnell, who later tried to clarify her position in a statement to Fox News. Here's what she said later. It's not about gotcha questions. It's about providing local school districts with research-based information about health topics and including a few standards about gender identity for consideration by local schools. Now, let me ask you, if you're talking about health topics and you're talking about gender identity, why would you not be very clear that there's two genders, period, end of sentence? Why would you want to throw out all this other hogwash that we've heard from some of these liberal groups over the past few years? The Michigan Department of Education also defended the policy, saying that these are guidelines, not mandates. They stress that local school boards still have full control over whether to adopt them and that parents retain the right to opt their children out of any sex education curriculum. Again, why does it even need to be in there? Because we know what some local school boards would do with this. There's no reason to put parents in the position to have to object. Just don't put it in there because it has nothing to do with what these kids should be being taught. Now, as you can imagine, the argument that, hey, local school boards can decide for themselves, it's not calming anyone down. Parents say the issue isn't whether the standards are mandatory, it's that their tax dollars are funding an education bureaucracy more interested in teaching kids about gender fluidity than teaching them to read, write, or balance a checkbook. Think about this. In Michigan right now, nearly 75% of students can't read at grade level, and they're having these types of discussions. Yet the state's top education officials are spending their time debating gender identity definitions and then smiling when asked a straightforward question about basic biology. To many Americans, that's not just tone deaf. It's a symbol of what's gone wrong in our public schools. That's it for today's edition of Just the Truth. Thanks for joining me in the PhD Weight Loss Studios. To lose weight for the last time, visit myphdweightloss.com. If you haven't joined my mailing list yet, visit my website, joeyhudson.com. Click on the Connect with Joey button so that you can receive our emails and the most up-to-date news. Also, join me on my YouTube channel. Be sure and like, comment, and subscribe. Just search for Joey Hudson. As always, thanks for spending a few minutes of your day with me. Do me a favor and forward this episode to a few friends. Just click on the share button and send to your contacts. We need to build an army of conservatives to win our country back, and we can do that by continuing to share the truth with our friends and family. Keep those comments coming via the Furman Ford text line 864-477-JOEY. Email to joey@joeyhudson.com, and I love your messages on the MyPillow message line. Again, that's 864-477-JOEY, 864-477-5639. Be sure and take advantage of the MyPillow special, just $14.88 on the standard MyPillows when you use promo code Joey. Order online at mypillow.com or call 800-893-4053. We're back again tomorrow and hope you'll plan to join us. Until then, remember, God's got this. He's still in control.